Will AI improve our lives or exterminate the species? What would it take to abolish poverty? Are you eating enough fermented foods? These are some of the questions we've tackled recently on The Next Big Idea. I'm Rufus Griscom, and every week I sit down with the world's leading thinkers for in-depth conversations that will help you live, work, and play smarter. Follow The Next Big Idea wherever you get your podcasts.
The HP AI PC breaks language barriers instantly by translating up to 44 languages in real time, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. With the right tools, work doesn't have to feel like work. Learn more at hp.com/AI PC.
If they would have just talked and said, hey, I need the inside, you take the outside, they get what they want, right? Because now they put it up to someone else as a third party. By not communicating what exactly it is that you want, neither of them are happy. They didn't get what they want, and they wasted a ton of time and resources. So long orange juice story to tell you, say what you want, say what you need. Fucking just say it. Don't be scared of it. And if you can't help them, you can't help, but you're just speeding up that process. I'm telling you, for a guy like me or anyone that's pitching or getting investments or trying to get coached or whatever, our biggest resource is the time, right? I can't handle the bullshit. So just like, hey, I can help you. I can't help you. Dude, I can help you. Good. You're decisive. That's decisiveness. That's kind of showing that piece. And the vulnerability and transparency of admitting what you do know, that's great. You're a sort of manager, but it's even more powerful to be able to admit to a business partner, a colleague, or investor what is it you don't know. What keeps you up at night? What scares you?
Hey, I'm Kwame Christian, and you are about to step into the world of Negotiate Anything, the #1 negotiation podcast in the world, where we teach you how to make difficult conversations easier while getting more of what you want in the process. Each episode is packed with practical tips and strategies from the experts. We delve into negotiation, conflict resolution, and leadership skills that are crucial in both business and in life. Whether you're closing a deal, managing a team, or navigating personal relationships, Negotiate Anything provides you with the tools you need to succeed. Our conversations are real, relatable, and most importantly, rooted in practicality. So if you're ready to transform your conversations and elevate your negotiation skills, join me on Negotiate Anything. Subscribe and listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to listen. Let's make every conversation a winning negotiation. Hey everyone, it's Kwame Christian, host of Negotiate Anything, asking you to please do not skip forward because this is not a commercial. Okay, I've got something for you. So we want to hear from you, our incredible listeners, because your feedback is super helpful in making the show even better. We've created a quick and fun form to get to know you, and this is your chance to make the show even closer to what you love. And here's the best part. If you fill out the form before December 31st, 2024, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a signed copy of my book delivered straight to your door. It only takes a few minutes, and your input will help to shape the future of Negotiate Anything. Find the form in the description of this episode, and we'll announce the winner in January. Who knows? It might be you. Thanks for helping us to make the show even better and even more connected to you. Good luck in the raffle.
Jeremy, thanks for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it is our pleasure. So how would you get us started by telling us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Jeremy Delk. I'm a small town kid. I'm from a town called Bardstown, Kentucky, which is probably most notable. We're the bourbon capital of the world. So grew up in a small town, probably 20-something thousand people, 25,000 people. It's grown quite a bit since. And probably growing up there, I always had this ever yearning kind of feeling to want to do more, be more, and see more. And that led me on a pretty wild and twisty-turny ride. That's why I wrote a book called Without a Plan, because that's kind of how I lived my life, knowing kind of where I wanted to go, but no clue on how to get there. So you've heard that adage, some Sinatra, right? You can make it here, you can make it anywhere. So New York was that kind of thing for me that I wanted to end up. And I ended up on Wall Street through a quite interesting path, but went to school in Providence, was a day trader early on, made a bunch of money, lost a bunch of money as a kid, and found myself in New York on Wall Street. And then I ventured out about 24 years ago and started Delk Enterprises, which is my family office venture capital firm. And We've been in, I like to say we're industry agnostic. We've done everything from real estate development, hospitality, building materials, to life sciences, health, wellness, and health tech. So quite a bit of different businesses all in between that. And yeah, excited to be here.
Yes, and we're excited to have you because you have such a rich and diverse background when it comes to business and entrepreneurship. And what I like to see is people who have found success in different areas in different ways. And I'm assuming a big part of that is the through line of difficult conversations and negotiations. And actually, Jeremy, this isn't something that we were planning on talking about, but I think it could be an interesting element of the conversation too. Because if we think about that journey from Bardstown to Wall Street and you got there without a plan, I'm assuming there were some tough conversations that helped to steer you on your way. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that too?
Yeah, well, I mean, I love the topic and like the title of your podcast. I can negotiate anything, because what I found, and this may be a different spin on what you guys talk about typically, but outwardly looking in, I would say like, hey, how do you negotiate from a boss, a tough sales call? Like, how do you negotiate that? I found the hardest negotiations I've had in my life have largely been with myself, right? And I think a big thing I talk about in the book is the title of the book's Without a Plan, and the subtitle is A Memoir of Unbound Action and Failing My Way to Success. So that's really, I think, the big piece I really preach on is failure and our human, I think how we're conditioned when we were younger with school and everything, but how we're conditioned to look at failure as this negative connotation and this negative thing, where I believe failure is everything. Failure is where the learning happens. Failure breeds confidence, and that's where you get to success, right? But for me, that kind of gave me the foundation of getting through it and using that as the confidence of like, wait, that was a really tough time, but I didn't stop and I actually got through it. So humans innately are, we're very protective, psychosomatic, and, we lose a parent or we have trauma in our life. We grieve, have those things, and we just kind of block that out. And I don't think you should look in the rearview mirror and live your life that way, but we are so strong. Everyone on your podcast right now has had a career ending, relationship ending, life ending thing that's happened to them. And my world, my life is over, but it's really not, right? You kind of got through, but you forget about that. So for me, that springboard, like when I decided I built myself back up, I moved from Rhode Island, Boston with Fidelity and on Wall Street, making more money than both my parents combined as a young 20-something in Manhattan. I wasn't fulfilled. I was only making money, a lot of it, but I found out very fortunately that I was a creator and I like creation. I love business. I love learning. And that was kind of my passion for me, and probably like a lot of young folks. But what was different for me is I wasn't scared of the risk. I wasn't scared of failing, because I looked back and I literally had the conversation with myself. So this goes back to negotiating. I wouldn't negotiate with myself. I'm like, dude, how bad can it be? How bad can it actually be where are you going to lose $2 million again in 4 days? Probably not, right? So if you go out, give it your all for a year and fail, dude, okay, you can go back to Wall Street. You can go and do that. So that's that negotiation that you kind of go through. So I think that was the deal I made with myself, that, hey, you don't know, and let's give it a try. But I don't know if I would have had the fear, if I would have had the courage to do it, if I hadn't already proven to myself that I could pick myself up so much more. I think that's what happens. Like you see it, and you see it so often, especially in corporate America, which there's a need for corporate America jobs and all that, but I'm an entrepreneur at heart. And I saw myself, if I didn't leave, I would have died. Like not physically, but mentally and emotionally. I think I would have died because I saw it happening. I was this young kid who had all these ideas and things that I thought were good. Maybe they weren't all good, but some of them were good. And it was just like, sit down, kid, stay in your lane, kind of go through. And you're taught this conformity approach, which wasn't for me. So that was negotiating I had really with myself and having that hard conversation. And then once I came to that decision, I was going to do it, nothing was going to stop me. I told my mom, like, hey, I just resigned today. She thought I was absolutely crazy. Like, Jeremy, you just pulled yourself out of this 2 years ago. You were a wreck. Now you're like on top of the world. What is wrong with you? Are you just a masochist? And I made a deal, gave myself a year, and that was 24 years ago.
Oh, man, this is so good. And I think this is such a strong place for us to start, right? Because it's funny, we hear so much about post-traumatic stress, right? Something that really, really bad happened to somebody and it caused damage for a prolonged period of time mentally. And that's very real. There's studies and people have experienced it. Something that people don't talk about enough is the reality of post-traumatic growth, where something really bad happens and then they use that as a catalyst for growth. And I feel like if we talk about that more people would lean into the power that can come from failure. And that's not to undermine what other people have gone through and the trauma that they carry, but it's also to recognize that there is another way to look at this so we can push forward and excel.
Yeah. I mean, that is where the true growth happens. I speak a lot on stage and for events, and I always have this fun exercise is who in the last 3 or 4 years, their business has had the biggest transformative growth, the biggest impact in revenue, sales, differential thing, pivot, whatever it is, like who's had that. And then you'll get a few hands that round up. And then I don't care which one you pick, what was happening in the business 6 months prior to that. It's chaos. Something was going on. And it's that piece where, and that's why this thesis on without a plan, I'm not saying, when you talk about in the opening of the book, like, I'm not saying you should just have some vision board and think it's all lollipops and gumdrops. That's just stupid and naive. But I'm a firm believer that, and because I've just seen it happen in clients I've coached, that they have got this 275-point plan for the next 3 years that, I mean, show me a plan that was like, who had a business plan for a global pandemic in 2020? Like you don't have these things. You can't plan for everything.
I agree. I like that military saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy. And that's where the resilience comes in. You have to be adaptable and flow. And now when I think about pivoting back to negotiations and difficult conversations, because we talked about the first hard conversation really has to come with yourself. You have to have that conversation with yourself. And what's funny is you said, I had to have that hard conversation with myself and then make a decision. And then it's the exact same framework that we use in actual tough conversations and negotiations. At the end of the day, negotiation is a problem-solving tool, but it's also a decision-making mechanism. We have these hard conversations for a reason, so we can decide and advance. And so when you found yourself in those tough situations, when you were now pulling yourself up and you had that conversation with yourself, and then you had to build a team for the VC firm that you were starting.
Yeah.
How did you get people to buy into your vision? What did those conversations look like?
Yeah, I mean, really bad at first, right? Well, and I talk about this now. Now I'm on the other side of the table, right? I invest with my own money. I make my own decisions. So founders are pitching me, where I was on the other side of kind of pitching. And I talk, and like the book is very much about business and my life there, but it's also about the personal side. I talk about really intimate and hard to talk about things that I think have really related to people because business is so personal. But one of those pieces of things that took me a long time to understand is no one fucking cares about you, right? Other than maybe your mom and your wife, your kids, like no one cares. And when we go to this thing with fear and what am I going to ask Casey? Or what am I going to go through? Like we all like, well, if I do this and I fail, what are they going to think? What's this going to happen here? What if I ask this, whatever? No one cares. Like you like everyone cares about themselves. Everyone's going through their same struggles and they're all in their own head. So you have to get that out of your way, number one. Number two, if you understand and agree that no one really cares about you and not be like, I'm not trying to be like a negative care about you, but no one like your things that happen to you in your family unit. Yeah, it could be a hot topic for like at a cocktail party, but after that, they have their own stuff, right? And everyone has their own stuff that they're worried about. But what that does is lifts this massive burden that we put on ourselves of like, let me just be who I am. And then you can be way like, I'm all about authenticity and just being yourself. And like there's, hundreds of millions of people in this world. Not all of them have to fucking like you. And that's okay. Like know who your tribe is and know what it is going through. So you get that authenticity and then authenticity leads to vulnerability, right? And if you can be that, it just speed dates everything, whether it's the girl you want to marry, the deal you want to close, the job you want to get, the company you want to buy, skip through the bullshit. So like a great example of like, let's make that practical. I've got a founder that comes into me and this is what I did. So I could recognize it now. They ask me questions. Every question I asked them or I was asked, I had all answers. I knew it all. I had it all figured out. Bullshit. Like, no, no one, I've been in this game for 24 years. I don't have it all figured out. Right. But if you see that and like you're going through it, it's just a natural thing of people wanting to please people. And if I'm going to be getting money from this guy, I have to have all the right answers. I've got to figure this out. I got to know I'm decisive, all these different things. I know you're either lying or naive enough to not know that you don't know. And that isn't good for anyone. Right. So if you can be vulnerable and say, hey, I'm a great sales guy. I can sell ice to Eskimos. I can do any of this stuff. better than anybody, but I can't balance a checkbook and I'm asking you for money. That's so reassuring to me. Cool, great. I got finance guys. Go sell, make rain. I can now help you because now more than money, you're telling me where you suck at, as opposed to telling me you have all the answers. 6 months later, you burn through cash. And so just be vulnerable. And people are like, oh, well, I can't say that because, again, what are they going to think? It's not like it's going to a personal relationship. Like, dude, don't act like you're not who you are because your marriage ain't going to work, bro. Like you see me say, hey, listen, I'm a great guy. I'm loyal. I'm loving, but I'm probably a little sloppy or I'm this. Like just be yourself and it will either work or it won't. But you are doing each other a disservice in your personal life, friendships, business, what have you. So the quicker you can kind of get down to that, your negotiating point, just you bridge it down, right? Because I've seen it. I got a bunch of lawyer buddies and I think they do this maybe in the like AUSA training or something. They do this where they're both given a case. This was what I was told from a lawyer buddies. And they have prosecution and defense, right? And the prosecution is basically like fighting over who has intellectual property over an orange. And I promise it sounds fucking silly, but they'll get there. And they bring expert witnesses in on both sides. They're going through and fighting over who has his IP of orange. Well, hey, is it a 3-legged stool model? I've done this. Well, it's prior art. I have a US provisional, but we didn't follow the thing. All this stuff for a 4-week trial, blinded, right? They're going through it and cost, it didn't really cost as a moot court, but it took months and months, 4 months to go through. And basically it ended up getting cut up. The judge made a ruling, split it up, had a royalty agreement, and it was whatever. So they wasted 4 months, going through it, and neither party got what they wanted. Each party had a business, a fake business that they were kind of going through, and that's what they were fighting for. Prosecution had a global distribution of orange juice concentrate sales throughout South America. The defense had a novel technology that used orange peels for bioenergy. If they would have just talked and said, hey, I need the inside, you take the outside, they get what they want, right? Because now they put it up to someone else as a third party. By not communicating what exactly it is that you want, neither of them are happy. They didn't get what they want, and they wasted a ton of time and resources. So long orange juice story to tell you, say what you want, say what you need. Fucking just say it. Don't be scared of it. And if you can't help them, you can't help, but you're just speeding up that process. I'm telling you, for a guy like me or anyone that's pitching or getting investments or trying to get coached or whatever, our biggest resource is the time, right? I can't handle the bullshit. So just like, hey, I can help you. I can't help you. Dude, I can help you. Good. You're decisive. That's decisiveness. That's kind of showing that piece and the vulnerability and transparency of admitting what you do know. That's great. You're a certain amount of, but it's even more powerful to be able to admit to a business partner, a colleague, or an investor, what is it you don't know? What keeps you up at night? What scares you?
Hello, my friends. Before we get back to today's episode, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered how to elevate your team's negotiation game and how you can help the folks on your team have better, difficult conversations? At the American Negotiation Institute, we offer transformative keynotes and workshops tailored to empower professionals with top-tier negotiation and conflict resolution skills. Whether it's a keynote for your next event or hands-on training for your team, we've got you covered. Don't just negotiate. Master the art with the American Negotiation Institute. Click the link in the description to find out more. Elevate, negotiate, and succeed.
Introducing the HP AI PC, your powerful AI assistant. Easily search through personal files, gain valuable insights, and make smarter, more informed business decisions. Unlock the future of work today with the HP AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. With the right tools, work doesn't have to feel like work. Learn more at hp.com/AIPC.
Oh, Jeremy, this is so good. So good. So let me do a quick recap and add to it because I want to make sure that the audience could capture this brilliance here too. Because when you start to recognize that people are not thinking about you as much as you think they are, it is one of the most freeing realizations you could ever have. Because a lot of times we make decisions based on the perceptions of others. What are they thinking about me? Trying to avoid judgment and trying to inflate our status and make us look better than we actually are. But if we can just say, hey, they're not thinking about me as much as I think they are because they're busy worrying about their own stuff, now it liberates me to be myself and be authentic. And I think that's one thing that's lacking a lot of times in the negotiation world. It's that authenticity. So I am going to figure out what it is that I truly want, who it is that I truly am. And once I get clear on that, now I can negotiate with clarity. But what we often have is we have these people who have incredible negotiation skills going to the negotiation table and getting what they want, only to find out that is the worst deal possible because they were not authentic and true to themselves and true with the other person. And when you can just say, hey, this is what I'm good at and this is what I'm not good at, we're not being vulnerable in a naive type of way where we're putting ourselves at a strategic disadvantage. We're being authentic in a way that allows us to find the right deals with the right people and the right partnerships, because now they know who we are and it gives them the license to be authentic and vulnerable with us as well. So they are more likely to show us who they are and what they really need. And now we can have really transparent conversations and better deals.
100%. I'm sure you've talked about this book, but Never Split the Difference, right? I mean, that's like Positive Negotiating, one of the greatest negotiating books ever. But I mean, again, I won't ruin the book, but you guys can get the idea. But the whole idea of going into a negotiation with this bullshit thing that you already going to start like, hey, I want to buy the house, or I want to buy the company, I want to pay $1 million for it. Starting off at 500, knowing you'll go to $1 million. It's just, okay, like just skip those parts because it's silly dancing as opposed to going through. And I think the other piece of negotiating, like you heard that adage, like the best sign of a good deal is no one's happy, right? I don't necessarily believe that, but I do try and really understand. Like I just put an offer in for a commercial deal that I think is a great deal. I know the guy is not going to accept it because he's a pretty shrewd business person, but we'll see if I get it or not. But I put in a situation that is a great opportunity for him. Like it really takes him out. It gives him a lot of upside. We're aligned on our pieces. Like, hey, listen, I'm going to take some risk. I know what you're in the deal for. I'm basically doubling your value for that. We are aligned on whatever upside deal I get, you're splitting it. So we're starting off on a basis of like, this is not me getting over some tricky put option or something like that. We're starting off on a basis where I'm consciously not, of course, I'm thinking about myself, what I want, but I'm trying to put myself in their situation. And is it a good deal for them? Because if it's not, like, are they ever going to do a deal with you, right? If you got them, right? And really kind of screw somebody, it's just a shitty way to live. Like I've got lifelong friends that started off as business relationships, lifelong. And I wouldn't have that if I fuck people, right? That's just not a way to do it. There's no reason. There's an infinite supply of money, especially with the Fed printing it every day. But there's so much money out there and opportunity that life's too short. Just be genuine. Come up with something that's a great deal. Could you make more money being super shrewd? Yes. But like, I just don't personally think that's the right way to live. And you're going to probably never do a deal with that person again, as opposed to like, you know what? Delk actually took care of me on this one. And this, like that currency of your word and your reputation, that you can't buy, and you can't speed it up either. It's just, you got to start doing the right thing every time.
That's powerful. And I think it's even more legitimate coming from somebody like you who has made millions, who has a VC firm. You're negotiating deals at the highest level. And now, this is really good. People can understand this, and I'm with you 100%. And now I'm hearing somebody in the audience saying, all right, Jeremy, I got you, but not everybody thinks this way. So I can come up here being all nice and vulnerable, open and honest, but there's some sharks out there who think the old school way. So how do I make sure that as I'm negotiating with authenticity and using strategic vulnerability when appropriate, how do I make sure that they don't come in and eat my lunch?
Yeah, no, look, I mean, don't mistake kindness for weakness. Like I'm the nicest guy until I'm not, right? So like, it's like, you have to have the tool belt, man. You have to have it all. I'm just saying and I think it's of my opinion, you don't want to use that bullet first, but let them know, right? Let them know you have that in the chamber that you can kind of go through and do it. It's not the way to do it, but yeah, you can't be a meager, oh shucks. I mean, you got to be able to kind of go in and, you know, we've seen this, like we try to do strategic deals for bolt-ons, and I think coming in with kindness and an opportunity is the right way to do it at first. But if you're met with adversity, just tell them, right? I mean, that's the best thing I've ever done is like, it's some secret plan. I tell them, well, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Like I wrote this in the book. We had a lawsuit with an animal health company, and this guy was just fucking asshole. And we went through, and it was in federal court in San Diego County. And I flew out there, and this was a little bit of a bluff. I had like 250 grand. I said I had $2 million in a legal defense fund. I had a couple hundred grand in it. And he was suing us for patent infringement. His patent argument was weak. He wasn't even he was a licensee of it. Like, and the person, the university where he had the IP from, we were friends with. So I basically kind of went to him. We're in mediation in San Diego. I see him in a hallway because we've taken a break of 4 hours of mediating. I walked up to him and said, listen, I don't know about the lawyers. They told me not to talk to you, but I'm going to tell you what this is going to do. We're either going, I'm on the red eye. This was like back, and then I don't know if they still have it or not, but Delta has a nonstop from San Diego to CVG. And I was on that red eye. And I'm like, if I get on that plane and we don't have a settlement, I will spend every bit of this $2 million, like wiping you clean. I will lower my prices to 50% of yours until I put you out of business. I'm stupid. So you make the decision. And I delivered the message very articulately where he, I think, got it. An hour later, we were in a hotel lobby. I was having a cocktail. He was having a cocktail, and our lawyers were sitting across from us, drafting settlement agreements and press release. So, and it wasn't a threat. I wasn't prepared not to do it. I would have done it. It would have hurt us both, but you have to show that. Sometimes you have to show the teeth like, hey, there's one or two ways that we can work together, work against each other. And nothing, this was a very small emerging business. And I said, guys, like, you're fighting a battle in a market we haven't even built yet, right? Do you see like big pharma fighting on, like, do you see Ozempic fighting with other liraglutide or whatever? No. There's enough people over there overweight that they can sell to. So like, they're just talking about the benefits of GLP-1s, not like Ozempic's better than this one. So like, take a script out of their book, man. Like, they're building a market and all taking a piece of a much bigger market. You want to kind of fight. So which way do you want to go? And again, that was being super authentic. Like, this is what's going to happen. One or the other. You choose, and I can't make that decision for you. But he saw, and I think probably his board saw, that we were serious.
That's brilliant. I'm so glad you said that, Jeremy, because what I recognize is that people have this binary type of thinking where they say, all right, either you're a nice guy or you're a mean guy or whatever. But really, the greatest negotiators are the ones who have range. They have the right tools for the right situation. And in the majority of situations, going in, being warm, being friendly, being compassionate, empathetic, that is the way to go. And then as you go through the interaction, you're going to recognize with this particular person and this particular situation, I recognize that that strategy by itself is not going to work. And when you think about game theory, for example, they say, all right, the best strategy is tit for tat. So without going too deep into economic theory with this, just recognizing that, hey, if you are nice and friendly, then the other person is nice and friendly. We can both go on and negotiate in a nice and friendly way. If they betray you, if they do something mean, if they are aggressive, then you respond with that, with something that lets them know, hey, you're not going to take advantage of me. I'm going to be very, very clear. You have to be clear with that boundary and set it very, very clearly. So the best negotiators recognize that sometimes, hey, being warm and friendly works. And they also recognize that sometimes you need to put your foot down and defend yourself, because there's no superhero with a cape who's going to come in and save you. It's your responsibility to save yourself. And I love the fact that you still tied this in with being authentic, because you were being authentic. You're saying, hey, listen, I want to work with you. I want to get this done, but I want to be very clear about what happens if we do not get this done within this time period. This is going to be my next move. And that was authentic.
And you can't, and the only piece to add on that, it can't be a fake threat, right?
Right.
It can't be a fake threat. You have to be, and it's your word. Like, I will do this deal, and we can have the lawyers draw the paperwork, and I will be the nicest, and we'll do the deal, and we'll be fine. That has to be true. Same thing is, I will blow it up. I will blow my company up and your company up just for principle. You have to be willing to do it, because otherwise you get called on that really quickly and you're the boy who cried wolf and no one believes you have teeth. But you do it once and then you show someone else, and I call it hanging a body in the lobby, right? You hang a body in the lobby sometimes and they see that, all right, well, he's done it before. So what do you want to do? And I think that's the piece. I mean, and you see a lot of stuff in 20 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like, hey, sometimes you have to recognize that the war chooses you. We go in peaceful, and sometimes the war chooses you, and it's your responsibility to step up and do something. And now, before we go, because I know we're coming up on time, I want you to think about, in all the difficult conversations that you've had, difficult negotiations or conversations in general, what would be the one piece of advice, one foundational piece of advice you would give the listeners when it comes to what it takes to become an effective negotiator?
Yeah. I mean, I think it really starts with everything with yourself at first, really getting comfortable and understanding what your core beliefs and non-negotiables are. So that's kind of like your moral compass of what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do. Having that internal peace, and because it's just going to give you so much more strength by understanding that, hey, I'm okay being who I am. I love myself. Like, I didn't love myself for a long time. I did a lot of therapy and kind of going through it, like, just self-destructive behaviors and all kinds of stupid stuff. And like learning to love yourself, because you can't love anyone else until you do, right? So so basically what I'm saying is kind of getting your own house in order, right? Who am I? Am I comfortable with myself? Do I love myself? Do I believe in what I'm doing? Because if you don't have those things, you're not going to be able to lead. You're not going to have anyone follow you. You're not going to be able to negotiate authentically. So it's getting to that point of where you can be your most truest and authentic self. So that's probably the first part. Because if you're a fraud and you're just fucking lying to yourself and you kind of putting it through, that it gets tiring, man. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I am who I am. Like, you like me, don't like me, I don't care. But like, I can't be two people. It would be so hard to be that. So it's like two jobs. So once you kind of get that, you're further than 95% of the population, right? You are further than 95% of the population. So now when you go into the agreement, into the thing, before you look at yourself and what it is in my deal, right, that I want in this negotiation, put yourself in their situation. We're having a meeting. What would be the best outcome for them, right? And it really starts there. And then it also speeds you up. Like, if you're just completely in different direction, different, modes, whatever, you're probably never going to get to a deal anyway. So like, just that's fine. Never get to a deal. Just accept yourself as colleagues or adversaries and just kind of move on. But putting them first on like, hey, what would an optimal deal look like for them? In your mind, you don't know all the information, but you're taking a hypothesis of what that is. Then could you live with that? And then could you work in a framework that would make your deal, your optimal situation, good as well? Yeah, you're never going to, but that's a good place to start. Then you can start prioritizing what's really most important to you, and that's where the negotiation comes in, whatever. So that's that. Then and I'm not giving you any direct answers, but once you have all that stuff, the one thing that you should do after you get all your house in order is, my team hates this, and this is going to be hard for most people that are planners. Don't go into the meeting with any predisposed plan or objective. Just go in there, talk about you, talk about what you want to do, and that sounds so asinine because like, hey, I need to know what I want, but you don't know. You think that you know what goes on in their office. They can have a dumpster fire. We have a company that we were trying to make it, their whole board, you can look at a public company, their whole board resigned 2 weeks ago. Like, it's in a free fall. Like, you think you know what's going on, but you don't know, right? So going into it, I can't tell you how many times I went to a meeting that we thought was going to be a joint venture sales agreement, that halfway through I'm like, this is an acquisition target. Like, we're going to buy this company, right? So you never know. But when you go into the meeting vulnerable, authentic, hey guys, this is what we think. You guys are doing some really cool shit. We're doing some cool stuff. Whatever. Hey, you guys are this. We think we could be a great value add from selling them a product, good or service. Whatever that is, go in there with confidence of who you are, confidence of what it is. But just you sharing and being vulnerable and being, because like, you're not going to give me trade secrets or algos that you're going to do. Like, just tell them where you want to go. Be honest with them. You will be surprised on what they will tell you. And now you actually are at the table and like, wow, like, we can really do something cool together. And I'm telling you, more times than not, you just get to the result quicker. Like, I'm not saying this isn't a recipe that you're going to get every deal done, but every deal isn't meant to be done. But it's managing time and going through and getting to that result of figuring out, hey, there's nothing to be here, but like, we appreciate you. And like, let's not fight, right? Let's just kind of go through. But, and hey, I'm not a customer today, but I really respect you. And like, this is what would be really good. Especially if I'm thinking more deals, like how to do deals. If you're selling something, dude, maybe your product sucks right now, but you want them to tell you it sucks. They're not going to. If they feel like you're just buttoned up and you only leave your product, go in there like, hey man, we really love this. We think what's good. We think this is a great fit, but dude, you are our ideal customer. And I want to hear your honest feedback, because if you don't buy this product from us, then we failed you. And I want you to tell me, because we built this in our little black box thinking that this would be the best product for you. If you don't buy it, then it's not priced, because the value we give you is so massive. So of course it can't be priced. We missed the mark. And my obligation is to my company, but really to you as a potential customer, tell us what we did. What did we do right? Or what can we do to make this product an absolute game changer for you? All of a sudden, they're giving you the shit to tell them. They say, well, if it did this, this, and this. So, okay, so if you tell me if we were able to take this, make the integration easier and make this and do these things, that would be something that you guys would use. Absolutely, Jeremy. Cool. I'll be back to you in 30 days, right? And you just got to that point as opposed to like, oh, we went to the sales meeting, they didn't like it, it is a miss. So again, it just breaks down. This shit is easy. I've been in different businesses because business is business is business. You're dealing with people. That's it. People have their own challenge, their own problems, and they're trying to look for their own solutions for their own things that matters to them. Ask them what matters to them.
This is great. Jeremy, you ended with some fire there, man. I appreciate it. And before you go, remind the listeners again about your book and how they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so I'm jeremydelk.com, Jeremy S. Delk on all socials. The book's Without a Plan. So it's on Audible, Amazon, anywhere, Barnes & Noble, anywhere you find books. But yeah, check it out. It's got some good stories. It's a bit Wolf of Wall Street and / like The Hangover probably. Yeah, that's right. The best way, but with business advice. But look, business is personal, man, and you should make it personal and lean into it. Have fun and get to love yourself and know what's important to you.
Amazing. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
Wait. Now, before you sign off, I have something to tell you that I've never told you before. Just kidding. I've told you before, but you should listen to it again. I want you to know about Negotiate Anything Premium. Imagine all of the things that you love about our traditional feed, plus so much more. I know you like our traditional feed because you're at the end of the episode. And with Negotiate Anything Premium, you'll get more bonus content you've been asking for, more of the expert insights that you can't get anywhere else, and more exclusive behind-the-scenes access into every conversation. Are you ready to get more of what you want out of your life, career, and every conversation? With Negotiate Anything Premium, you'll have access to more high-level, custom-designed content and insights, giving you the tools you need to negotiate higher salaries, better deals, and better relationships in your life and career. Once I had a listener share that Negotiate Anything helped her to negotiate a $53,000 raise. Could this be you? What would that mean for your life? I've seen firsthand the impact this model has had on my life and the lives of my corporate clients, and I am confident that it can do the same for you. Are you ready to negotiate more of the best things in life? Click the link in the show notes to learn more. I'll catch you later.